Hi, and welcome to this course on Amazon Web Services. My name is Rodrigues, and in this lesson, I will be going through the EC2 service provided by Amazon. Well, EC2 stands for Elastic Cloud Compute and is one of the most oldest services provided by Amazon. This service is used for creating your virtual machines on the cloud. When you start using EC2, you will just be amazed at how simple and how quickly you can get a virtual machine running on the cloud. Some of the key features of EC2 are given here. We will be covering these features in a later video, but for now, it's generally quite good to start understanding what these terms mean. We have operating systems, storage, elastic IP addresses, and CloudWatch. Let's go through each one of them in a little bit more detail. Operating systems. AWS EC2 provides a whole lot of options on the operating system types that can be used to host a virtual machine, right from Windows Server 2008 to Windows Server 2012 to Windows 10, Red Hat Linux, and the list just goes on. AWS ensures that latest versions of all operating systems are made available so that it becomes more flexible for the user to just use the latest and greatest. Storage. The general classification of storage are the general purpose SSD and the provision IOPS. Provision IOPS is generally used for high input-output requirements. So generally, if you are hosting a database on a server in AWS, you might want to choose the provision IOPS storage classification. Just remember that there is a price difference when it comes to choosing each storage type. Elastic IP. By default, each server on the cloud will have a public IP associated with it. That is, if it is created in the default VPC or subnet. Now don't worry about the VPC or subnet terminology as of yet. We will cover this in the later chapters. Just know that if you have this default configuration and you create the server in this configuration, it will have a public IP associated with it. And with this public IP, you will be able to access your server on the cloud. But when you shut down the server and start up again, it will get another IP address. So more often than not, based on your requirements, you might want to have a dedicated IP address for your virtual machine. And this dedicated IP address is known as Elastic IP. AWS allows you to create an Elastic IP and attach it to a virtual machine. So when you do restart the VM, it will retain the same IP address. CloudWatch. CloudWatch is a service offered by AWS to monitor your virtual machines. You don't have to log into the servers to see what's happening. You can let AWS handle this for you. You can set up monitoring alerts for different parameters such as CPU virtualization and network utilization, and have notifications in place to trigger for any abnormal activity. So we've seen quite a lot from our presentation. What say we jump right into AWS and see it in action. We'll log onto the AWS platform and use the EC2 service to create a simple Windows server. Once you've logged into the console, the first key thing to note is the region you are located in. This is important because your VM will be located in this region. Next, click the EC2 option to launch the EC2 dashboard. Once the dashboard has been loaded, you will again see a whole lot of options. Please click on the Launch Instance button to begin the creation of your virtual machine. As was indicated in the beginning of this tutorial, AWS has a list of options for creating both Windows-based and Linux-based operating systems. One key thing to note is that some of the VMs have this freer tier eligibility. This just means that AWS will not charge you. Click on the Select button for the Windows server. In the next screen, you will again be presented with the option to decide on how many CPUs and how much memory you require for your virtual machine. You again have the option of choosing the freer tier eligibility option. Now click the Review and Launch button. Here you will see the details of the server being created. The next option is just to click the launch button. Here we will be prompted to actually create a key pair. A key pair is actually used for security purposes to log into your server. Choose the option to create a new key pair. Give it a name, such as in our case, we're giving a name of probably demo123. Click the download key pair and ensure that the key pair has been downloaded and keep it for future purposes. Now click on the Launch Instances button. You will then be presented with a screen wherein it will be showing that your instances are now being launched. Click on the button View Instances to actually now go and see your VM being created. In the main screen, you will now see that the VM is in a pending state. This means that AWS is now preparing your virtual machine. Once this is done, the state of your instance will be changed from pending to running. And that's it. Congrats! You've actually now created your first virtual machine in the AWS cloud. Please stay tuned for future chapters in which we will be discussing more about the AWS Web Services.